Welcome back. They say you only get one chance to make a first impression, but what if you were a master of impressions? I am Grayson Knight, and this is Baseball Podcast Are Fun. On today's bonus episode, I have the pleasure to speak with Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, sorry, Liam Neeson. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Justin Rupple, the man with over 200 impressions. I met Justin on August 27th at the Savannah Bananas game where he was doing his celebrity voice impressions while introducing each banana batter. On top of that, Justin is a stand-up comedian who has toured around the country and most recently has been a contestant on America's Got Talent. Let's get to it, Justin. How are you, sir?
I'm really good after that intro, Gray. That was really good. I went to school to give that intro, and that's better than I did. Wow. I honorarily give you a degree in broadcasting. Congratulations. I'm doing very well.
Thank you. I have to tell you, when we met, I didn't know you had already been on America's Got Talent. I know the judges said yes to you, but are you still in the running?
So the way America's Got Talent works now, a little different than it used to work back maybe a few years ago when you were just a tiny puppy. You're a big dog now. When you were a tiny puppy, when they said yes and they gave you 4 yeses, that means you're on to the next round. But now they give so many yeses that they do have to trim down some of the people that they give yeses to. So I got 4 yeses from the judges, but I didn't get to move on to the semifinals. So me and about 75 other people got cut. And so it moved on. I think there's a winner now. Depending on when you air, there's a winner. No spoilers. You should go look it up.
I'm not watching it, but
okay. Well, because I'm off it now. So what's the point, right, Grace? I'm not moving forward, but it was an amazing show.
Mm-hmm. And I could have been talking to America's Got Talent winner.
Yeah, you could have, mm-hmm. But instead, all I can get you is Howie's bald head.
So. Can you do a Howie impression?
I don't even think Howie does a Howie impression. No, I don't. But I'll do Simon for you. That was awful. There you go. There's Simon Cowell. Just a little one.
That's his vocabulary. Spit take.
Very good, my friend. Very good.
This is a bit of a bonus episode, in that you are a baseball player or a coach. People I usually speak to on here, but you are baseball adjacent. So if you don't mind, can you tell me if you had any baseball experience growing up, or did you play as a kid?
I did. Not only did I play as a kid, I played through high school. I did not make it my senior year in baseball, which was very tough for me. To senior year of high school, we were in a very good school, so I did not make it. But then I went on to college and tried one more time at my state university, Washington State University. I did not make it there either. But the reason I tell that story is because when I got to go out and audition or try out for the Washington State Cougars, I ended up finding that my real passion was talking about the game and talking to players like you're doing now. And I was able to refine my degree to a broadcasting degree. So I thought, well, maybe I'm not one of those people who gets to be a player, but I do have the skills to be a broadcaster. So I finished my degree in broadcasting and then went to work for the broadcast team for the major league team that I grew up cheering for, the Seattle Mariners. I went to work for them for a short period of time.
Wow.
Yeah.
What position were you when you were my age?
Well, let's see here. I desperately wanted to be a pitcher, but my best position was second base. I had a great curveball, overhand curve, no side curve. You know, we're trying to protect that elbow here. But it was really more of a curveball because it was so slow. I would throw it up into the air and then I'd wait for the
like an earth
to. Yeah, exactly. I'd wait for the earth to turn.
Instead of the rotation of the ball to make it go down, the gravity makes it go down.
That's exactly right. You have to calculate the parabola to figure out the. I love it.
So you said you grew up in Washington State. So you went to Washington State. Is that a university?
That is a university, Washington State University. Also in that state is the University of Washington, but we don't talk about them.
What was it about baseball that you liked?
Baseball is two things. It is a demonstration of what America had in its beginning, a big, beautiful park, with a lot of green, a lot of open air, fresh smells because it's spring. It's beautiful. But baseball brings people together. And whether that's fathers and sons, daughters and mothers, and brothers and sisters, and people gather to watch the game, and their sense of community when they're there. The speed of the game makes it very conducive to conversation. So it's a place to gather, and they call it America's pastime because of that. It makes for great community entertainment.
Mm-hmm. You obviously have a unique talent. When did you first try to do impressions, or when were you when did you know you were any good at the impressions?
Hold on 1 second here, my friend.
Okay.
Pardon me. There we go. Any good at them? That's a tough question, because you don't know when you actually get good at something. Somebody else tells you that. But I started doing impressions before I was your age. You're 14, 15, 19, 20, 25? Yeah, 13, right. When I was 13, I remember doing or trying to learn Arnold Schwarzenegger and Kermit the Frog. And I remember learning how to do Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I liked doing voices that made me giggle, and if it could make me laugh a little bit, then I was making myself laugh. I spent a lot of time by myself, so I did a lot of silly voices.
Mm-hmm. For me, I think I'm not you, but for me, I think my favorite voice would be Mickey Mouse. Can you do a Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, so Mickey Mouse would be so in order to do Mickey, for somebody like me, you can hear my voice is deeper than a Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is way up at the top, right?
Oh, hiya, pal.
Exactly. So in order to do that, you have to close off your throat and really squeeze a tiny little bit of wind through your air pipe. And then he goes up and stays up and says stuff like, "Oh boy." So from my voice up to Mickey, it would be, "Oh boy."
I mean, that's great.
It takes a lot to get up there, because you have to really squeeze off my voice, because otherwise your vocal cords work like big rubber bands, right? And the longer the rubber band, the more it wobbles, and the more it wobbles, the deeper the sound. And the tighter you pull that string, the bing, it pulls that rubber band sound ding like that. So it's a higher noise. So if you got to make a high voice, you want to pull that rubber band real tight. And if you want to make a low voice, you pull it down really, really low. There you go, buddy.
Are you learning new impressions? Do you practice new impressions?
Yeah. You watch the TV and every once in a while kind of talk back to the television? I'll be watching Avengers, and Thor will be talking, and he'll say something and I'll kind of agree with him. He'll say
in his voice.
Yeah. He'll say, "Oh, I wouldn't go there." And I'd say, "No, I wouldn't go there either." Right. And it's just trying to when somebody's voice makes you laugh, you kind of laugh and repeat it. So if there are voices out there that make me laugh, then immediately I start doing that voice. So when something makes me giggle, I'm immediately going to start doing it. So there's always new voices being learned. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember who or what your first impression was?
Yes, I think it was Splinter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie.
Was that when you like really young?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, what's third grade? But like 7,
8, 7, 8.
8. Yeah, I remember. I'm much better at it now because I'm older. But I think I remembered the speech from the very first Ninja Turtles movie, which was, I think it was, I still remember. Many years ago, I grew up in Osaka, where I learned the art of ninjutsu. There you go. There's my first impression.
That's your first impression.
Oh, tickled my throat. That was 31 years ago. 31 years. Oh my God, is right. I am old.
What was life like in your house? Do you have any like siblings that you imitated, or were you making fun of family and friends?
My sister and I used to do a lot of voices together. We would memorize movies, Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles and that kind of stuff, and Miss Doubtfire and Ace Ventura, and I would do those lines to her and annoy her. But I never really made fun of anybody. I was a very tiny little kid, and so I kind of got made fun of a little bit. So I use the voices as a way to not always have to be myself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like kind of if somebody was teasing me about my height or my hair, or because when I was younger, your age, my voice was very high, much higher than yours. And so I tried to make it deeper artificially.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the Los Angeles police. It's okay, we're good. Yeah.
Was anyone mad about you impersonating like people in front of them?
Yeah, not everybody likes doing not that's a good question, Grace. Not everybody likes to have somebody do an impersonation of them. I remember a comedian named Macdonald. He didn't like my impression of him. I did it for him. I was like, oh, hey, that's my impression of you, Norm. What do you think of this? And he said, oh, that's horrible.
You met him in person?
Oh yeah, I opened for Norm many years ago. I did some road work with him, and he's a very nice guy. He liked the impressions. He didn't like the impression of him because he said it made him sound doofy.
like how doofy?
I don't know. He thinks he didn't like it. He didn't like this sound. Oh, yeah. But that's when you do an impression of somebody, you take kind of the words that they don't mean to say all the time. You'll notice this when you're talking with your friends from now on. Some of them will say like a lot, or you know what I mean, or right, or something. It's that we call them out words. And when somebody finds out what their out word is, they don't like it.
Okay.
Because then it's kind of like making them look in the mirror.
So you're touring the country, right?
Yeah, on occasion, yes.
Have any celebrities reached out to you that know about you that said, oh, that's really cool, or something?
I've had some celebrities make some tapes. Yeah. Jeff Goldblum made a tape about me. Yeah,
my dad met him.
Yeah, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's the best. I met him a few times. He did a video that was on Vanity Fair, and he was critiquing my impression of him. And he put it on TikTok, and it was my impression of him was, this is my impression of Jeff Goldblum arguing with his wife. Yes, 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 yes. But I think you've forgotten that yes, I took out the trash. And
which is weird because Jeff Goldblum would never argue with someone.
Exactly, he would never do that. And so in his critique of the of my impression, he said, yes, I like that. I like that he's a little harsh. I don't think I would argue like that. I would listen more, but he does have a bit of kitten about him. He got that little thing, that wondrous curiosity. I suppose I have that. Yes, very good, very good. So then he does this thing where when he says your name, he will repeat it back to you so that you get it, so that he gets it. Like I met him a couple times and he'd be like, remind me of your name again. And I'd say, Justin.
That's what he did to my dad.
Right. And he'd go, yes, Rupple. Right. Yes. As if we'd met before.
That's exactly what he did to my dad.
Exactly. Because he's very smart, Grayson. And I'll tell you, what we can learn from Jeff is that if you make people feel special, if you make them feel seen and appreciated, man, you got him for life. Because now I'll use whatever he's selling. I'll see whatever movie he's in because he made me feel like, yes. And, look at you, Jeffy Jeff.
So I mentioned before that you're touring the country. How much time do you spend away from home?
Before the pandemic, I was away a lot. Now, since the pandemic, I've decided to stay home more. If it just so happens that I get to continue to work with the Bananas next season, how much and how often I get to work with them, that'll be part of the travel. But it's let's put it this way: I'm home more than half the time now. I used to be away more than half the time.
Are you in Washington right now?
No, I live in Los Angeles right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're a long way from home.
No.
It's not that long.
No, you're right. I am.
How do you travel to Savannah, by plane or car?
Take a plane and then take one of those tiny little planes. 2 planes.
Oh.
Big plane, little plane.
So, is it true you played in How to Train Your Dragon, right?
I did. I'm Tough Nut.
I've seen those movies. Did you win an award for that role?
No, our cast did. The cast won an award.
Oh, okay. So technically you did, but personally, no.
Yes, okay, technically. According to my agent and my mother, yes, technically I won. My mother, she's like, Justin, you won that award. Well, as an ensemble cast, we won an award. Not the Academy Awards, not the Golden Globes, but it's an award. It doesn't matter. And it was really such a fun series of movies. And I just love the whole series. So whether it's Hiccup's pretty cool. He's a cool guy. He's got Toothless as his dragon. Yeah, that guy. And then you've got Stoic, right? He's the king of Berk, the old king of Berk. But then Tough Nut, there is me and my full, thick, Viking-like beard. There you got the voice.
That's amazing. Are you working on any movie roles right now?
None that I'm legally allowed to talk about.
Okay, so yes.
I like it. Yes. Yes.
You probably get, you probably get asked this a lot, but how hard is it to learn a new impression? What's your approach to mastering a new voice?
So I start by talking back to the television. And then once I've had a nice conversation with the TV and I feel comfortable, then I figure out what word they say differently than everybody else. So if it's Liam Neeson, it'd be banana, right? He says it banana. You know, if it's Shrek, it'd be onion. Onion. Donkey would be waffles, right? Let me take you out some waffles. Waffles. Waffles.
Waffles.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get one word, and then you get that word so perfect that you can say it in 10 different ways and it still sounds like that person, right? And then once you have that word down and you can kind of like gesture, then you go into the mirror and you kind of make your face look like them, right?
So how do you become a donkey?
How to become a donkey, right? First, think about donkey. He's got that big smile on his face, right? He's got his teeth up like this. He's got his eyebrows up and down, right? So if you do half of those things, right, and you put your nose out there, Shrek, come back here, Shrek. Listen, I don't have time. I don't have time to fool around with you, Shrek. I got serious things happening, Shrek. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get your face into the mode of doing the impression, and then you believe it. That's the weird thing. That's the part about impressions that nobody will tell you is you have to believe it's true. You have to think for a few minutes or a few seconds, you are really donkey, you know, and if you can do that, then you're going to be better than all of your friends at impressions, because it's, you know, a lot of people will tell you that how you get someplace is hard work and dedication. And that is very, very true. But there's a small percentage that nobody else talks about, which is you actually genuinely have to believe that you can do it. And if you believe you can do it, other people will believe it too, because we are very attracted to people with confidence. And so if I'm doing something like donkey, just put the full on act and body behind it. Just believe you're him. You can't do donkey like, let me tell you something, Shrek. I'm gonna come over here. No. Donkey was, let me tell you something, Shrek. Like he was very in your face. He was proud, right? Yeah. So be proud, be that character, unless it's calling for somebody who's sad and depressed, like Eeyore the donkey, you know. Mm-hmm. Thanks for noticing me. Different character altogether, but believe you are who you are.
Yeah. How has your life changed as a result of the social media stardom of the impressions?
You know, I've been in some little TV things and I've done comedy for a long time, but until social media, until TikTok started to go viral, no one had ever really recognized me in public. But I get more recognized at coffee shops or live events from my TikTok feed than I do from How to Train Your Dragon or the movies or little TV shows I've done. I get recognized more from TikTok. So I'd say that's what's changed. And TikTok in particular, and the way that Instagram and Facebook have kind of copied that, make it seem more like you're talking right to your fans now. So it feels like I'm talking more to the people who are following me. Whereas I used to just kind of put it up and just hope it does well. Now social media makes it feel like I can actually have a conversation with people. That's cool.
Yep. I know what you do is not really baseball related, but what have you accomplished is something I think anyone can learn from. Can you talk about like any failures you've had along the way and how you've had to overcome them?
Absolutely.
That's something my listeners could benefit from, I think.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you this much. This is a story that I think your listeners will really like. In 2015, I had been out in Los Angeles for 5 years, and I things were going okay, but I had a day job because I wasn't getting acting roles. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my wife was fired from her job, and my restaurant that I worked at went bankrupt. So suddenly, both of us were without jobs, and I got a job driving for a South Korean family who was visiting from Seoul, and they were very wealthy, and they had family that they needed me to drive around, and the kids were about your age. And so when I would drive them around, you know, not really doing my dream job of comedy and acting, I'd be in a tuxedo, a suit and tie, driving them around and doing silly voices for them in the back seat. And the mom was like, these are really funny voices, and you're really good at these voices. You should do movies someday. And I said, yeah, that's the dream. And she said, really? Well, let me see what I can do. And 4 months later, out of nowhere, I got a call from her friend to meet them at the W Hotel in Beverly Hills. I drove out there. They didn't even say more than about 3 sentences before, we're flying you to Korea. You're going to be in a movie with Liam Neeson and Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. You're one of the stars. Here's more money than you've ever gotten to do anything in your life. And it's your first starring role in a movie, or co-starring. And the other starring role in the movie is from Squid Games. And so I went out there and flew out there. I went from driving people around to starring alongside Liam Neeson. And the difference here is, if most people got laid off and they lost their job, and I could have gone home. I could have gone home to Seattle. I had family home in Seattle. They would have welcomed me back and given me a couch to stay on. My wife and I could have lived with our parents, but instead I took a job that had nothing to do with what I wanted to do. And I worked as hard as I could and did the best job I could at that job. And I stuck around. Sometimes success isn't about being the best. It's about how long can you stick around until all your other competitors either fade away or recognize that you aren't going anywhere. It's a game of attrition. Sometimes it's just all you have to do is outlast everybody, Mm-hmm. So no matter what your dream is, there isn't a timeline, unless the timeline is to do something that requires you to be under the age of whatever, like to be a great high school student. I guess you can only be in high school till you're 18. But beyond that, there's no timeline. So don't put a timeline on yourself. Just continue to do what you want to do. And eventually, no matter what, as long as you keep doing it, it will pay off in some form or another.
Yeah. That's incredible. What year was that?
2015.
So was that before the first How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
So, and that's how you really took off, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. After that, things kind of escalated. Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Is the movie American? Is it in America or only in
it's a Korean film, but it did release in the United States. It's it's called Operation Chromite. It's a very heavy movie. Very I might not even be for 14 because it's about the Korean War. So very intense.
Mm-hmm. So it takes place in the war.
Yeah. The end of the Korean War, right?
Talk about where you started with your podcast and how have you grown as an interviewer, how your communication skills have gotten better.
Over time, the best thing you can do is genuinely care about what the people are talking to you about. Mm-hmm. And if at some point you realize that, the questions you have to ask are they're an outline. They're not a guideline. You know, they're there to give you a frame of reference. But if somebody is really getting on a tangent and going someplace cool, let them go there. You know, because the old phrase is, you know, from the Beatles, you know, life's what happens while you're making other plans. And you can go ahead and make a great interview, you know, outline and be like, this is what we're going to talk about. And somebody else brings up a great topic. Let life carry you down that path.
Mm-hmm. Justin, my listeners know that I like to end each interview with some rapid fire questions. And this is going to be some really fun ones because I had an idea if you were up for it. How about you try and answer each of the questions with a different voice?
You got it.
Okay, here we go. Why do we park on a driveway but drive on a parkway?
It's a very good question. It's because I'm not smart enough to come up with an answer. Peter Griffin, everybody, Peter Griffin.
Which U.S. president was your favorite from the 1990s?
That'd probably be Bill.
But also, 1,000 Points of Light, George H.W., both great presidents.
How did you end up getting invited to work from the Savannah Bananas game?
Repeat that.
How did you get invited to work at the Savannah Bananas game?
Here's the deal. I get the call from Jesse, and he's wearing the big yellow suit, and he says, we want you to come out here and we want you to do some voices for us. And I said, I don't know if you have the time. Of course I have the time. I'll always do it in the time. So he called me and I go out there and then I did the voices and I did the thing and then the season was over.
What's your favorite baseball movie?
Ray, my favorite baseball movie of all time is Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Second, of course, is Sandlot, because James Earl Jones is also in that movie, talking about baseball.
Who would win in a fight? Arnold, Sylvester Stallone, or Jean-Claude Van Damme? What? What is
That's my answer.
Okay. Which America's Got Talent judge were you most eager to please?
Heidi Klum. Yes. She's very pretty.
If I visited Washington, what are 2 things I have to see?
The dude says you should go see T-Mobile Park because that's where the Mariners play, man. And number 2, the Space Needle. Duh.
Indiana Jones or Lara Croft from Tomb Raider?
Well, here's the deal, kid. I hate snakes.
That's your answer.
That's my answer.
Last one. Where do you want to be in 2 years?
I didn't hear that one more time.
Where do you want to be?
It doesn't matter where the Rock wants to be in 2 years, you little jabroni.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to say, I guess? Maybe like any tour dates?
No, it's okay. Here's what I want to say. I want you to, since we're recording this, I want you to clip this up. Hi, this is Justin Rupple from America's Got Talent and How to Train Your Dragon, where I play Tough Nut. Watch Grayson's podcast. Heck, watch anything Grayson puts out. And if you don't, I will find you. And I will tickle you.
I can't speak. Thanks again.
Got it, brother.
If you want more information about Justin, you need to follow him at the Rupple on Instagram. That's the RUPPLE on Instagram. You can see many of his amazing impressions on numerous YouTube videos, TikToks, including and his amazing America's Got Talent performance, or checking the web for upcoming appearances. And you can help my show by subscribing to Baseball Podcasts Are Fun on YouTube and Spotify, and following at Baseball Podcasts Are Fun on Instagram. Join me next week for an all-new guest. Until then, that was Mark Wahlberg. I mean Justin Rupple.
What? No, seriously, it's Mark Wahlberg. It's Mark Wahlberg here. What's going on? This has been Baseball Podcast of Fun with Grace Knight. Say hi to your fans for me.
You did the outro. See ya.